Oh my God! What if we did? What if we did an artist date to the shelter?
Oh,
where it's
the
just
kitty
us,
cantina?
Where it's just us. Oh, to the kitty cantina for sure. But I'm thinking of something more. Oh my God.
Yo, the hype is real.
That's such a good idea. I love that idea. I've always wanted to go.
Have you been to Kitty Cantina?
No.
It's great.
Oh my goodness.
You'll
I'm
probably leave with a cat.
loving these. You probably will.
What?
I'm not allowed.
It's like our only cat cafe in town.
Okay, I didn't realize we even had one. So where's
There you go.
Well, okay. Sick.
But I'm thinking of something like really macabre and like very dark humor where all of us are like going in there and like weeping. It'd be actually like a terrible episode, but like in like the comic spoof of it all, except it would be serious.
Imagine a world where we just do an episode of this normally. Like we bring the table, we bring everything, and we're sitting right there in the middle of the kitty cafe.
All of us would, oh my God.
We would not be able to focus.
Yeah,
So
that
distracted.
would be. Yeah, that would be a very distracting.
It's like
episode.
that.
It would just be us holding cats being like, meow, 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 meow,
so cute, It's like that video. I'm not sure which YouTube it does, but they do like segments where like they interview celebrities, but they're like there's like puppies.
Yes.
There's like puppies in there, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's
That would be
wonderful.
nuts.
Yeah, I watched someone with Steve Carell.
Oh man.
It's
I
funny, yeah.
love Steve Carell.
Yeah, he's a
I
gem.
love that
He's just
man.
on character like 24/7.
That's true. Yeah.
But also, like, his character can sometimes be ditzy and other times be a sweetheart. So, it fits.
Or scary as hell.
Oh, yes, that's
Scary.
true.
Did he play any horror movies?
He's been playing some more serious roles lately. Like I think there's one where he's interviewing a serial killer or a cannibal. I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet, but it seems spooky.
Interesting.
I do want to see him. Yeah.
Listeners, welcome. It's
Oh,
another
yeah.
episode of Creatives Anonymous. We're a podcast. I'm Logan. There's Camrynne. There's Hector.
There's
What's
me.
up?
Mamma mia, let's go.
I have to ask a question that I've been wanting to ask Camrynne since I saw you today.
Oh, okay.
What is going on? So your shirt says
Yeah. Okay. Here we
Oh,
go.
I get it.
it.
Yeah.
You might have to be a little higher so people
Okay.
can see it.
Should I,
But
like-
yeah, I don't know.
like
So
this?
it's a bunch. So it's obviously something with a black sheep,
Okay.
but it also says Ireland
Yeah,
on it.
no. So Ireland is a country that likes sheep.
The goat.
Why-
Sorry.
It's a sheep country.
Sheep.
And so this is something I found at Reentropy.
Hey.
And
You could say
Shout out
it's
to
got
Reentropy.
a
Let's
lot
go.
of sheep,
You
and
could
then
sit
there's a
down.
little black sheep, and then it says Ireland. So I'm representing my country.
Makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's wild.
And myself. Yes.
It's
Thank you so
wild.
much.
So are you the black sheep? Is that the?
You know what? I was talking to a little kid today about it because he was also really interested in history. And I was like trying to explain to him the concept of, I was like, have you ever heard of like you're the black sheep of your family or something? He's 6. So we were really really deep diving into this. And I was like, okay, well, because you can be part of a group, but feel like you have, characteristics that stand out, essentially.
Did you ever feel different before?
Yeah. Hey, 6-year-old. Have you ever felt alienated? Do you have social anxiety?
No one sees your
If you
art the
don't
way
yet,
you do.
You will. You will. Don't worry. It'll come. It'll come.
You just like blank out, and then we were playing Monopoly actually.
Oh,
While this is
great.
happening.
Oh, great. As if
I
you
know.
were.
As if this is what I spent. Listen, we don't have to get into it. But
That's
I was
amazing.
like, as I was like talking at him,
Oh,
because
okay,
obviously
wait. So you're playing Monopoly with a 6-year-old.
he's a very smart 6-year-old.
Did he?
He knows how to play. We've been playing Monopoly for weeks.
He's beating
First
her.
of all,
Nice.
okay. And actually, this is a bit I'm trying to work on in stand up where I'm talking about how the premise is like there is no greater joy than to look at a 10-year-old or no, look at a 6-year-old. Okay, scratch that. There's no greater joy than to look at a 6-year-old and say, you owe me $10.5 million. like,
Buy all your real estate, dude.
fork it over.
Actually, I got Boardwalk.
Pretty much. Yeah, we have a classic Monopoly, and then he also brought in like a credit card Monopoly, which was, and that was with the 10 million.
It's sick. Yeah.
It's
My
nuts.
family had that growing up.
You know, it's cumbersome though.
Why?
Because like you always have to like put the things in, and like the paper money, you're just like here.
Then you gotta count it. It does all the counting for you.
Yeah. What's wrong with using your kids these days? Don't use their brains.
I don't know how to use money.
They can't count.
So today,
let's put 10 million.
today we were playing the classic version, and he bankrupt me and made $13,829.
Boy's a hustler.
He's a hustler. Yeah. He kept wanting to trade. Okay, but here's the thing: like the railroads really are key in Monopoly to get those railroads. If you get all 4,
you're rolling.
It is so good. Because it's like what 4 chances to get $200 in rent.
10% of the map.
It's and so but he kept trying to make a deal with me. Because for me to buy his
hustling.
No, listen, this kid knows how to play Monopoly.
Oh my
gosh. For me to buy his railroads. And I was like, as your financial advisor, I think that's a bad idea. So, listen, I may have helped him along the way to absolutely destroying me. Where if I really, used my power.
Yeah. You unleashed on this.
To destroy him. Yeah.
You're like, run it back. I was going easy on you.
Anyways,
Double or nothing.
I was like,
how Camrynne hustled a 6-year-old out of $10 million.
$10.5 million, actually. I kind of, because I decided that I didn't really like the credit card version, and so I didn't want him to think this one was fun. So I did play a little harder on that game.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, you can take this one home. This is just
you also owe me 2 cans of soda.
Exactly. Wow. I know, I'm a little diabolical.
That's,
Destroyed.
Listen.
You're shaping tomorrow's of...
By explaining to them that the credit card Monopoly is not my favorite.
If it's not cash and under your mattress, it's not real.
And also that sometimes you have characteristics that really stand out, and that's what it means to be a black sheep.
They're going to be CEO one day.
Do you ever feel... I was like, do you ever feel like you're a black sheep? And he was like, and I was like, and then we just left it at that.
Oh my God.
And then we just kept playing.
And then you ate pretzels afterwards.
Pretty much.
Man.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I know. This kid's cool. I'm lucky.
Ruthless.
I know. Well, yeah.
You're teaching him young.
Oh, when we first started playing, he would be like, he'd be like,
Do you trash talk you?
oh yeah, come on now. Come on.
Did you trash talk back though?
Absolutely. Well, I'm always like, nice try or something like that. I get really sleazy about it, and anyways,
it deflects off of you.
Absolutely,
you're like
it does.
Kendrick.
Absolutely.
I'm on right now.
Oh gosh.
You guys know about that?
We don't have time to get into the weeds of that.
Isn't that crazy?
I know a little bit of that, but just because I've seen it in social media a lot.
You know what? Right now, I need everyone to focus on this 6-year-old that I am teaching about capitalism, which is
Captain.
When he would land, because like there's that first street that's not very expensive, the second street, third street, fourth street, before go, it's super expensive. So he'd be like, oh, $6, that's not very much here. And then like as soon as like he had to like pay more, he'd be like, oh, come on. I was like, I really feel you. It's like, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. Oh, come on.
Then the big bill comes. You're like, man.
It's games like Monopoly teach real world tech.
They really, honestly,
interesting.
Maybe.
We're working on negotiating skills. We're working on
You're a
a lot of
friendship
stuff.
tester.
And then you also learn it's all about what space you land on, whether you're going to be rich or poor.
It's true.
Well, there's some strategy.
Some strats.
There's some strategy. So far, it's mainly 2 players here. If there were other players, it would be a lot more complicated.
At the end of the day, if you never hit the big properties, then you're going to win the game.
Slow and steady wins the race there. You just need a monopoly. You really need to get you really need to own a block. You really need to what is it? Exploit people to win. Yeah.
And that's what you're teaching.
That is what I'm teaching the youth. Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, so if someone could just fund me to be a full-time artist, I'd be doing it. It might be better for the world.
Hey, capitalists out there.
I know.
I'm be a good full-time. You want me at the
Please.
top.
Let me be your artiste in residence.
You know what game is a friendship tester?
What's a friendship
that?
tester?
Mario Party.
Mario
Oh
Party?
my!
Oh, I love
Mario
it.
Party 4.
Oh, all of them.
Mario Party
All of them,
4.
yeah, doesn't matter
No,
which
Mario
one.
Party 4 specifically with that mini game where they're in the boats and you have to like sync the way that you do the controllers. Some people know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Don't Mary Poppins Princess Bride me with this. Do not do that.
What? Do what?
It's the one where they're in like the dungeon and you have to row the same time.
And you all have to do it. Click at the same
and
time.
you go and it goes through the things. Yeah, it's very difficult. And then like you have to hop out and one person has to go and like release the gate for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Teamwork.
I
yeah.
actually.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you
Do you
know
know-
why I know this?
Why?
Because the latest Mario Party
Does it have that one?
all
in?
the mini games. In it.
Ooh, yes.
Like
No
all like the
way.
top 100
Yep,
of all
yep.
time are in it.
Wow.
And it has all the stages from the original one. So it's great.
What I
It's
love,
a hard one.
well, what I love about that game is because like you're in the lead. Just because you're in the lead doesn't mean you're
Right.
safe.
Exactly.
You
That's
can lose
how you-
everything
that's how
in
you know a
in
game
one
is
turn.
good.
No one's safe.
No one's safe.
No one's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I played like that's my favorite game to play with a bunch of friends when we're all drunk.
Oh yeah.
That is a good drinking game.
That is.
Yeah, that's like the friendship tester, you know? Like, oh,
Yeah,
I
it
just
is.
took all your stars, dude. What are you
We
gonna do about
haven't. What are you gonna do about it?
It's also a good like. Is any of my friends a sociopath?
it? Slams the controller.
That's how I'll know. Is they're the ones who are the conniving in Mario Party.
Oh well, if the shoe fits.
I've definitely demolished some people in that game, and I've been demolished in that game too.
I
So,
know.
yeah.
I specifically remember the Christmas that we got Mario Party 4 and like we had a huge family like Christmas with all my cousins and we played that game
Bucko
for
there?
The Bucko wasn't there. The Bucko wasn't there. He lives on the East Coast. This is the West Coast fam. And I truly our friendships as cousins and family members was really tested.
Yes.
was
Good.
really tested.
Good.
I love that.
That's how it should be.
Fire.
We were all, there were times where we like all had to like take a break. Like our parents came in and like, you guys need to go outside. Yeah, because
That's
you
definitely a-
ever play 100 turns?
No way.
Yeah, way.
That's too many.
It's way too many turns.
That's too many.
It is way too many turns. I don't think we ever played 100, but I think we did 50 at least. It's way too many turns.
You're wild.
I mean, it was unhealthy for sure.
And look how you turned out.
Unhealthy.
No. Great. You're well adjusted.
Absolutely.
It caters
Absolutely.
it caters to my Sagittarius nature, which I'm very competitive in that regard.
I love Sagittariuses.
Oh, thanks.
They're the best.
I feel like
What are you again?
I'm a Scorpio.
We're Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. We're all in the same order.
Ooh.
Oh, cool.
Whoa.
I don't know anything much about that.
I feel like if I'm too cutthroat in Mario Party, I lose social capital with my friend. Like, it's like this is if I just be nice in Mario Party, then like everything's still good afterwards, and it's gonna end up fine for me.
I don't know. I really respect competitors. I really respect people who get in the game. You know? I think like you could go easy.
Oh, I
but maybe
think you
lose
should
respect for
try.
you.
I think you should try.
I think you should try.
But I think any moment where you're not going against whoever's in 1st and you're just trying to like, that's the moment where you're like, ooh, this is like you have a lot of opportunity to be spiteful and evil in Mario Party. And I really
True.
avoid to do
It's
that.
really
I really
true.
try. Like there are people who like I know I'm not gonna win, so I'm just gonna take stars from this other person who's been slamming me all game. Yeah, I could never. I don't do that anymore. It's too much stress.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I think that's what brings the spark to it.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
think that's where the magic comes from.
I think that you shouldn't change. I feel like maybe someone has like put upon you that you were like mean or something, but really they were just weak.
On the 100th episode of Creators Anonymous, just play Mario Party.
Exactly.
Yeah, done.
Exactly.
Done.
I mean, I don't know. Is that too cold?
What too cold?
Me thinking that whoever gave you the idea that you were like too much about Mario Party is not cool. Weak.
No,
Can't take it.
can't take it.
Not up to snuff.
I don't know. I'm a big believer that you should have drama in a game no matter what.
Yes.
So I think that part's good.
Yes.
I don't know. It comes from within. It comes from within.
It does come from within.
I do like the passion that comes with the gaming too. I think
Yeah,
that's fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but even like we were playing Super Smash Bros. Earlier, me and Hector. And I just...
Hector pulled out a last minute
I really did.
ka-punch.
And what can I do?
A 1-2. And
It's going to be every episode.
he was playing Incineroar, which while they were playing, I was
Logan's
looking up
washed.
the Pokemon evolution
No, you're not.
of Incineroar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you were
at-
reading the description, the
Yeah.
Pokedex description.
And first of all, Incineroar's first evolution is called a Litten, and it's so cute. Anyways, okay.
What was the second one?
Oh, I cannot remember. But Incineroar is awesome, and Hector was done for, and
I really was.
And then he pulled out this little 1-2 punch,
I was like,
destroyed
Logan. I was
Logan.
like, wait, I can do this. Cross chop.
and became Incineroar in that moment.
Yeah,
really, like roared himself.
Yeah,
Stood
that
up,
is true.
Stood up, roared, and then laughed a lot. Laughed like he was like it was beautiful.
You felt powerful.
It was beautiful.
I was
And it's
channeling
good.
my inner Incineroar.
It was really.
should do
I was
that.
honestly
Was
brought a
that?
tear to my eye.
You should do that. I'm proud of you for that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
And now, out of no ill will, now you have to do a check-in.
Hey.
Now you have to start the check-in. You're first,
Oh, right.
Mr. Winner.
Well, I got... It sounded
Logan's
spiteful.
not salty at all.
Me?
What? No way. Well, hey, so you guys know already, I turned in my 2 weeks.
Woo woo.
There we go.
Yeah. On to greener pastures, as they say.
Yes.
Getting an adult job. I
Adult
suppose.
job.
I don't know. I mean, it's for the higher pay and benefits. So
Let's go.
yeah. So, but the cool thing about this job is that I'm able to like. It's funny because that's what I'm looking forward to this whole time is gathering PTO
Oh yeah.
and then using that PTO to go do creative things.
Yes.
So I have this plan. My first thing I want to do is I want to get like I don't know 2-3 weeks off.
Yeah.
Go to California, rent a car, you know, and then
Because
just
you're 25 and you can rent a car.
yes, you're right.
You just
Big
turned
adult-
25 and
big
you
ad-
can rent a car.
Big adult Zoronic.
Yeah, walking up to that rent a center.
Hey, give me a car.
Give me a car.
Give me that car.
I mean, an
no, it's too
Enterprise.
expensive. No,
Okay.
no,
the shittiest car you got.
but no.
I'm old enough. But
I need 09 Honda Civics in here.
hey, you got the Porsche?
Imagine.
Yeah. No, yeah, just rent a car and just like drive all the through just the coast of California, you know? Stay at
Nice.
dingy motels and take some dank pictures, you know? Bring
Sick.
like 20 rolls of film.
Boom.
Yeah, that's
Knock it out.
That's on my list.
wait.
so.
Beneficiaries. Beneficiaries. Would anybody be willing to?
Yeah. The capitalists were
to,
watching for Camrynne.
Yeah. Listen, I'm a generous artist. I'm willing to share some of my funds to go over
Share the
here.
wealth card.
Yeah, absolutely. Except for in Monopoly. Where
That's
aim to
amazing.
destroy.
I hope I'm not revealing too much. You were working in a more creative
Yes.
capacity,
I
and
was.
now your day job is going to be less creative.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be useful for me because I was using a lot of, just how I view it, I was using a lot of my creative energy at that job.
Yeah.
And then outside of that was I had to, you know, like do my own creative projects, which has slowed down significantly in the last, you know, like few years. But since now that I have a break from, you know, doing that, like, you know, like
For your
5
9 to
days
5,
a week.
yeah.
I think I'll have more like, and I'll be off work at like if my schedule goes correctly, I'll be off work at like 2:30. So I'll have like the rest of the day to just do whatever. So I'm excited.
Oh,
I'm excited.
that is
I'm gassed about
moving
it.
up. Let's go.
So
Congrats,
exciting.
dude.
Yeah. So I mean, like, hey, like no ill will towards my last job. It's just like, yeah, that's just.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm at that. I was plateauing, you know.
And you're at a
point.
point now in your
Yeah.
life where that shift is like an exciting thing for you.
Yeah, and
That's
I'll be able to focus more on my personal projects, which is, you know, like one of my.
That's it.
That's like what it fills my soul more
Yeah.
so than anything else. So
Absolutely.
it's like it makes me think like, oh, like people want to do a creative job for a living, but it's not. I mean, like it's different for everybody, you know. Like
Yeah.
for me, I lived that for like almost 4 years
Yeah.
of just creating, but now it's like, oh, I gotta take a break
Yeah.
and focus on my own stuff. So
And I think there's a lot of different pictures of what taking a creative job looks like. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's one thing when you're an independent contractor and you're executing your own creative vision, and that's a type of creative job. That's really volatile, but it's still a type of creative job. And there's some people who have a design degree and want to work at a design firm and want to use those skills to like be valuable as like an asset to a company.
Yeah.
And that's fantastic. And that like whatever fills your cup.
Yeah.
But to know which one you are is really important. And it's cool. I think at this point you're learning that about yourself.
Yeah.
Or maybe over the last 4 years you've kind of learned that about yourself.
I find as I'm getting older, I like to be low key.
What?
Yeah, I
you
do.
Low key.
I know, right? Which is
you're like the most low key. Yes.
I like to just do my own thing. I just like, hey, like I want to have the creative energy to what makes me happy. You know?
Yeah.
So, what is that? Is that it for me? I think that's it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's my creative check-in.
Your
My
turn.
turn?
Your turn.
My turn.
Your
Okay. Well, this is going to be news. I guess this would be like a plug, or this is the news for what I've got.
Hey.
What day is it? It's May 6th right now. And on June 5th, I have like my project of music coming out.
Oh my goodness.
Ear candy.
Yeah. This has been a long time coming. But essentially, I am really known as like a producer and a songwriter and a lot of different things. And I got into all of that because I wanted to, like, I learned production and engineering so that I could write my own music and like through the proper channels, like release it. And then I got good enough at producing and engineering that now people pay me, and like a lot of people want me for that, which is great.
Let's go.
But having my own project has fallen to the sideline of helping other people execute theirs because it's a lot of like, you got to work with your feelings a lot. There's a lot internal that it takes to like put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, nonetheless, it comes out June 5th. The project name, so like my songwriting project's called Hand Signs, and the EP itself is called Worrier. So, as in like someone who worries.
Worrier?
Worrier, yeah, as someone who worries. So,
I love it.
Amazing.
yeah, I'm super stoked.
Yay.
I'm super stoked.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Hey.
Are you going to do any little surprise releases for Creatives Anonymous? Like little snippets?
Sure.
maybe?
No, they'll figure it out. They'll hear it when they hear it.
All right.
No, it'll all be a secret. So anyway,
That's so cool.
There's still a lot of details that go into figuring out what all that's going to look like. That I work on every day, but I'm just so excited. I'm excited. It's happening.
Heck yeah.
You really can take an idea and make it happen.
Thank you.
That's a cool thing.
Yeah,
Love that.
so I'm excited. I'll have something to share with everybody.
Yay!
Can't wait.
Are we gonna have like a party?
We're
We're gonna have a release party?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's go to a Zips party.
Yeah.
Let's hit up a Zips with an aux cable.
We should rent out a McDonald's party room
Yeah.
and a play palace.
Yeah, bring the Bluetooth speaker to
Absolutely.
a McDonald's.
Who here went to a McDonald's birthday party as a youth? Raise your hand.
I do remember. Yeah, absolutely.
Is
They
that
had
still a
the,
thing? Yeah.
They had
still have the play place.
But
Absolutely.
there are less and less of those. But they had
I
like a chair with
know.
like the bejeweled little things around it. Is what I
Bejeweled.
remember. You guys remember that?
Oh yeah.
It's like they taped it on there.
those were good, but you were like, we're going to McDonald's for their birthday.
Yeah, those was hype.
Yes. And my mom is she's a nurse, so she's always like, you're gonna get sick in the ball pit. You're not allowed to go in the ball. She was so nervous that it gets, whatever.
I miss the McDonald's play place.
I know, those were
play place.
play place.
That like kids did spread diseases in those.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
a valid concern.
Absolutely, for sure. For sure. The ball pit's disgusting.
Yeah.
But every kid should be able to go in the ball pit.
True. Yeah.
My mom's like, what if people put glass in there? She was a bit of a worrier.
Whoa.
She's a bit of a worrier, dare I say.
Well, Camrynne.
Okay, check in. I'm gonna be in New Orleans at the end of May
Yeah, you are.
for the LGBT LOL Queer Comedy Festival, which I'm really excited about. So
I'm so
if
stoked.
anybody here who listens to this podcast in New Orleans, I'll promote it there for sure. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna do some sets. I'm really excited. My sister's coming with me.
That's
I know, so we're
incredible.
going on like a little sister trip. And and also just bopping around New Orleans. I'm so excited. I'm excited for the music and just for the food and just to,
culture.
yeah. I'm really pumped to. I've never been to the South either.
Whoa.
And like I'm excited that my first foray is in Louisiana.
Yeah, that's
Louisiana
absolutely.
and the French Quarter. That's not the right accent.
French Quarter.
The French Quarter. Listen, I've been in the Northeast, okay? I've never been south. So I'm kind of... Yes.
French people are like, what's happening?
Like, you sound a little bit weird.
I think that was a French man who said that.
Yeah.
That wasn't me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Croissant.
That was like
So-
the most. Did you guys know that's the most mispronounced word in the U.S.?
Croissant?
Well, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
What? Okay, go for
Croissant.
it.
Yeah.
Croissant.
And next you're gonna tell me
Croissant.
tortilla is the next most
Tortilla.
mispronounced.
Well,
Can I
like,
get the salsa verde
Salsa verde.
in my tortilla?
I'm looking for the salsa verde on my tortilla. Howdy, partner.
Oh no.
you take
Can I
two
get a
tortillas.
rancherito?
You take 2 tortillas, you put some cheddar cheese in there, and make yourself a quesadilla.
And if you
Quesadilla.
put the cheese in the tortilla, it's a Doritos Locos taco.
Oh, and you know what else? If you fry the quesadilla and put a little salt on there,
That's a chalupa.
oh, it's so good.
It makes it a chalupa.
Yeah.
That's a chalupa.
Hey, what's that? Wait, you want soft bread with your crunch? Well, that's a gordita crunch.
That's a gordita crunch.
Have you guys ever?
Crunchwrap Supreme.
I was friends with someone who used to work at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And she made us homemade Crunchwrap Supremes, and they were so
Yo,
Amazing.
They were. I was like, you can make this at your house. You can make a Crunchwrap Supreme at your house.
Oh my god.
It was
That's
fantastic.
amazing.
It was fantastic.
Side tangent.
Yeah.
Speaking of Taco Bell, so do you guys follow this dude, or do you guys know I've heard this dude, Jordan the Stallion?
Jordan,
on
okay.
Instagram.
Oh, Jordan the Stallion.
He's called the president of the fast food club.
Oh,
or
no.
Fast food
Okay.
secrets club,
Okay.
or whatever. So he put out this
Yes.
video where
Yes.
it's like he like has like food hacks, right?
Yeah.
And one of them was like this Taco Bell drink, right? It's like you mix, it's like three parts Baja Blast, 1 part strawberry lemonade, and then the rest is Starry.
Nice.
So good. I tried it.
Is that the Hector Aizon?
No, it's called Tropical Skies.
Tropical Skies. Ooh.
It's so good.
I don't
Yo,
know,
try
man.
it this summer. It's
I
so
want
good.
some
Yo,
Tropical
kids
Skies.
out there.
Woo!
I don't
My
trust
sugar.
I don't trust them.
Ooh. Sounds
Definitely-
delicious.
Definitely go take a bike ride after that.
Yeah. Actually, run to Taco Bell. Walk 8 miles to your nearest Taco Bell.
Yeah, do like 3 miles.
At our next sesh, we should all drink a Tropical Skies.
Oh,
I'll
no.
bring it with. I'll give you a little sippy cup.
I can't do it. Yeah, I have
Yeah.
like a shot of tropicals. I couldn't
my
do that.
We can do
gosh.
it.
I know. Yeah,
I'm down to do it.
You don't do sugar.
I
You're
couldn't
so
do it.
amazing. I wish I had
Couldn't
your.
do it.
I wish I had your
Vibrate.
constitution.
But no, it's like that
That'd be
taste of
amazing.
sugar never leaves my mouth. and I
It's
feel
cloying.
sick.
Oh,
I feel
interesting.
I thought it was like bloodlust. He's like, must have more.
No, it's just like gross.
Okay, wow, man. I
no
wish
cake
that
for
was
you.
me. I wish I felt that way.
No brownies
Solve
for
so
you,
many
Logan.
Yeah, please. I'll go with that.
I think that's what's new with me. Besides destroying kids in Monopoly, it's that, and I'm going to New Orleans. What?
Asserting your dominance.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Took all my property.
Exactly. I did.
Plunged me in debt.
I know. Listen. Some of those deals were not in his favor, and I made sure to do right by him. So, I do have the moral high ground here.
Yeah. The honorable landlord.
Exactly. The honorable. What an oxymoron.
Investment banker.
Exactly.
Property developer.
Absolutely. Yikes. Well, our topic today.
Topic today. Hector, you came in hot with the topic this time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was some spitballing some ideas.
Yeah.
And we decided to combine was it cultural with the innate and the what is it? I remember what it was.
Yeah. So essentially,
Yeah.
like, it's like what in our background, what in our experience, how does experience inform creativity? distilled down.
Yeah, like different. We all come from different backgrounds, obviously, and we all have to, like, it just forged our creative paths. You know, like.
But Hector, what are you talking about? We're cousins. You're my cousin, bro.
I thought we were siblings.
Well, I mean, in some states you could be.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
I think it's. I also want one of the questions that we were just talking about is like I like the innate ability to be creative versus like learning it. Like,
Well, let's
through the
start
hard way.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I guess how I envisioned it is like people who have like there's people out there who are just naturally talented with the creativity, like they're just born with it, and then there's people who are just like they haven't messed with it quite yet, but when they pick it up, it takes a while for them to get to the level versus the person with like innate ability.
Maybe
to be
they're
creative.
born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
But that also,
breezy, beautiful.
but there's also the environmental factors like education, your upbringing, like what's your access to like resources,
Right. Yeah.
your social status.
That's a really interesting thing about access to resources and things because like my family, like my grandparents on my mom's side were like dirt poor, you know, white trash people who lived in like a small town in Oregon. And then my dad's side of the family no my dad's side of the family were immigrants from Ireland.
Yeah.
So my grandparents were immigrants and my dad was the first living son born in America. There was one that didn't live, which is so Irish.
Yeah.
We never talk about it.
Is it an Irish thing?
Well, just have like a dead kid, never talk about it. Anyways, listen, well, the Irish love the macabre. But like that side, like the Irish side, you know, there were 7 living kids, you know, and like my grandfather worked in a steel mill after, you know, coming. He left his farm in Ireland when he was 14 to go work in the coal mines in England.
Dang.
And in World War II, met my grandmother at like one of those little social dances. Then they had 3 kids. Exactly. Yes. I did a dance. A dance, pretty much. And then my grandfather came over to America because my grandmother had like 13 siblings, and the oldest one lived in Washington Heights, actually, which is where I lived in New York. It was really cool because like when I lived in New York, like a couple of my cousins and we all lived in Washington Heights, which was dope, which felt very much like, well, this is where our grandfather lived.
Yeah.
And he came over, and then he was a janitor handyman for a building.
He cleans and fixes.
Pretty much. And then he like met this guy who worked for this guy who was, so he met a guy who worked for a guy who was like opening up a steel mill in Levittown, Pennsylvania. And they were like, if you come work here, you can have like a little house and like all of that.
Yeah.
So then there was like the whole like truly like the American dream, like go to school for white people. American dream for white people. I gotta say, for the white people. Where like, you know, you go to school and you you know, and then you are fairly successful. I mean, they were still dirt poor. Let's be real. Like my dad had 1 pair of pants, and he had to hitchhike to college, and you know, didn't have money to buy food, you know, like stuff like that. So, but then he, you know, he did what he was supposed to do, which was go to college, get a job. He also joined the Air Force because that's also what you do when you're poor in America.
Yeah.
You join the military.
Yeah.
Does that up your social status if you join the
Yeah,
military?
well, yeah, because it like, well, you know, people respect the military,
Yeah.
and I kind of like a broader sense, you know what I mean? No.
Yeah. Well, in
You know,
general,
you know what I mean? Like
the military
Right,
also generally sells itself as like
It does,
an
it really does.
opportunity for you to get where you
Right.
want to
Yeah,
in life.
yeah, yeah.
A, and then B.
does it do that? If you live through a war, it could do that.
Well, and that also at that time,
Yeah.
like
It wasn't that
the
bad.
GI Bill
Yeah.
also paved a lot more for your
Oh my
life after
gosh.
your military service than it does
Yo.
today. So that's another thing too.
Yeah, the GI Bill is the reason why Wynn Handman, my acting professor, was able to like go to acting school and then open up all the things that he did just because of the GI Bill.
Like Levittown, Pennsylvania was like built on the GI, like GIs,
Oh,
people coming back
yeah.
from war. Like
Oh my gosh.
legitimately, that's like
Absolutely.
what it's known for.
Absolutely. So, so he did all of that. He was in the Air Force and was a nurse anesthetist. So he was a medical lieutenant colonel in the Air Force. So that's how he made his way. And but like at no point in that time did he have the ability to like choose art, because there was so much survival was at stake. Too much survival was at stake, which is like very interesting when you think about opportunity in art. Like truly the only reason I'm able to do this is because my parents are now upper middle class, my grandfather on my mom's side, he like his house burned down, and he like they'd have to go out if they wanted food, they had to go hunt for it. Like it was like he's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
If like there was like if the world ended, my grandfather we would be fine.
He'd be fine. Yeah.
Like you hang out with him, you'd be
It's time for the hunt.
Truly. He's a severe man. He sat me down. My grandfather sat me down when I came back from New York and I was super sick. And he said, "So when are you going to give up this acting business? When are you going to come to your senses and give up this acting business?" Really in fear in his eyes, like fear. He's a lot of fear. Everyone has a lot of fear for me. Yeah. Because this is not the thing that'll help you survive poverty. And all growing up, my mom would always say, you need to have an oar in the water. Yeah. Which is something that, especially women, need to know, like you, because, especially if, you are into men, and you're like, you always have to have an oar in the water because that's essentially like, she'd always say that like as an oar in the water, meaning like always have a job or a way to provide income to support your family in case, of course, your husband leaves you. Just something, she's like, cause your husband
Plan B, essentially.
The impending doom that surrounded like these life lessons, like contraceptive, like you need contraceptive because if you don't, like you could get AIDS and die. You need it was always so extreme. Like you need to have an oar in the water because if you because when you marry a man and he could just leave you and leave you with the kids. He could leave you with the kids.
He could just die one day.
And you have to support the family.
Yeah.
So like that's all of this stuff. So that's like when I went to college, I got a degree in science and a degree in arts because there was no way that in my family you could just pursue art.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely no way. And for good reason, honestly. Like, so like me doing this, it's truly like, sometimes I feel like it'd be so much easier to not be an artist because life would be simpler. There's a set trajectory. Like, okay, you have a good job. You can get a house. Yeah. Maybe you're in a relationship. Maybe you start a family. Blah 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 blah. Totally. Like it's like a total like, this is a nice little path, but like it's just not for me. And even being so sick, I'm like, I still want to do this. Yeah. Like, I still like everything went to shit for me in my life, and I'm like, yep, I still want to do this. So I guess I'm crazy. But the other thing is I've never had to fight for survival, really. I've always had my needs met. And that's when it comes to what you were saying about it's really unfortunate, like the amount of artists and creatives who are out there who would be amazing, but can't pursue that because they have to survive. Yeah. And being an artist is a bit of a luxury.
Interesting.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
Sure.
No, I agree. I mean, like, my parents kind of have that same journey.
Yeah.
Coming from the Philippines.
Yeah.
Like my mom was, she was literally raised as like a real life Cinderella story, where she was in she went to go live with an aunt who was just like clean the floor, clean this.
way.
Yeah. And she told me all this. Like they lived in like a field, literal field, like a not even a cabin, like a hut in the field. And like she would be like wake up super early, cook breakfast, do the laundry, and during that time there was no machines to do that stuff, so it's hand wash, and then you gotta dry it, like literally just all that every day. Go to the nearest market, which is 40-minute walk.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get the stuff, come back, cook it. Yeah, so she lived that life, and she had some good fortunes and was able to go to college. Like go to school. While the aunt wasn't as
mean as the stepmother.
The aunt was the mean one, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the husband with the uncle was really, really nice and gracious. So she was able to save up to go to school, and
good for her.
Yeah,
I mean, that takes mental fortitude.
No, yeah, for sure. And like and she's going to college. That's where she met my dad, and and then they started a family after college, got married. If you guys, I was born in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And we lived in like a 2-story house, like pretty like nice.
Yeah.
Like because most houses in the Philippines are like 2-bedroom, just one floor. But if you have a 2-story house, that means like you've figured it out.
Yeah.
Like my dad was he was in a clinic.
Okay.
He worked for this big plant that had a clinic, and he was like the staff, not doctor, but like just like health, like physician or something.
Yeah.
And then that went under. And then so we had kind of experienced like fortunes and misfortunes and this. And there was a time where my mom, my dad, and myself we had to. There was times where like I slept like. I remember like sleeping on the floor where like the futon is cockroaches.
Oh,
there would be cockroaches like
Philippines.
Yo, yeah,
cockroaches
super common.
Moisture.
I would wake up. There'll be one crawling on my leg.
Oh, and they just don't die. They live forever.
They're literally like impervious to damage.
Oh.
But yeah, no, and like they've sacrificed a lot to come here. Like leaving all we know.
Yeah.
From the Philippines, like
That had been
my grandma lived here.
Oh my
She married I think Grandpa Russell was either in the army or he was in some branch of military.
Yeah.
And then came here, and then
How old were you when you came here?
I was 11 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That had to been difficult and shock.
It was culture shock for sure.
Yeah.
I was just like.
Yeah.
Oh, first day elementary school was a shocker.
Oh,
for sure.
I bet. I can only
into
imagine.
Spokane.
Of all places.
Or like the only person who looked like you for miles, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, living here was like, it was a learning curve for sure. And I was able to make 2 really good friends who were my neighbors at the time. And they kind of just showed me like how to live here,
Wow.
and that shaped me to a certain degree. And then I kind of slowly started discovering art through that. Like it's funny to think about because like most of my family are like what's the word for it? Like my oldest sister, she's an accountant, like straight arrow, straight to business, knows how to save money, and then my middle sister Trish, she's like, she works for like a corporation, like likes to build cars, like she likes to shoot guns, blah blah blah. And then she's kind of like in that realm, but she also works for a corporate job, and know.
Yeah.
And then there's me,
and
I'm the artist of the family.
No, I resonate with that a lot.
There's always one in the group.
Yeah,
there's always one in the group, and it's funny because like Philippines, it's very very common for kids to either be involved in singing, in acting, in dance, or just any art medium.
Yeah.
Like if you go to the Philippines, like and you look up like I don't know, like dancers in the Philippines, there's like 50 in each area. There's like 100 in each area. When I went there, the last time I went there, I basically just like asked my friends like, in town, like, hey, do you know any dancers in the area? I was like, oh, there's like hundreds.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. And then
Who
literally I
isn't a
met them.
dancer here?
Yeah, who isn't? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you live, like I said, that place is hyper competitive with like arts.
Yeah.
Like me going back there to try to get a job doing arts. Actually, I would actually get a better favor because I lived here. They favor people who have like college education and like
U.S.
U.S. experience. Like can speak English, you know, because that's like one thing they look for. But like if I were to stay there and do arts, like competitively, it'd be so hard, you know.
Totally.
Like so many photographers, so many videographers, so many like actors, actresses.
That's so cool.
Yeah, dancers, plenty, you know. Like if you go turn on the daytime television, there's always these segments where like, oh, today's competition, we have this group of 50 people in a certain town. They all do like head spins or whatever.
Whoa,
it's crazy.
That's crazy.
So it's saturated, you know.
Yeah.
Because everyone's trying to make it out. Like
Yep.
that's what it is. Like they're trying to make it big. So they can.
So that's almost like an environmental factor that like encourages it abnormally than like you grew up in Spokane.
Yeah. Like the b-boy, like the breakdancing scene there is vicious.
Yeah.
Like I remember the first time I went to Rizal Park, which is like big park in the Philippines, where like I didn't know that they after like 6 p.m. they like all dancers come out of the woodworks there.
Whoa.
Literally like 50 people go to like the main statue where the Jose Rizal is the statue. And I remember going there the first time, I was just like, like a sea of people. There's not even a jam. Like it's just everyone just collectively goes there.
Whoa.
And then there's like a cipher, dance cipher.
Yeah.
I got called out so many times. They're like, that guy, it's new. I'm taking him down. Like it's like such a like bloodthirsty like that guy is fresh. I'm gonna take him down, and then I can claim the fame. That's like literally the mentality there.
Yeah.
Like they don't care to like. I mean, like there's camaraderie there, but also like it's the rivalry first.
Okay, it's like wow. I don't know what it's like, but
that was like the first initial reaction when I showed up with like my friends. That everyone was like,
Man.
target locked.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So no, and you know, I was fortunate enough to like come here and learn. You know, like it's just funny. It's almost like destiny. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not gonna do dance. Oh, I'm not doing any of that stuff. And then what takes like one show, America's Best Dance Crew. I was like, now I gotta be doing it.
Oh, that's
and I'm like,
cool.
oh no, I'm actually decent at it. No,
Like an anime character. You're just like, I'm never gonna do this, and then you get in there. It's my destiny.
you're like, whoa, it's in my blood.
Yeah. It
So
is.
it's almost innately in your blood.
Yeah,
And then,
it
like
is.
it's funny to think about that now. I'm like, wow, like when the jokes, like the joke is like, oh, you're Filipino? Oh, do you dance? Do you sing? Like
You're like, done. Yes.
I do 2 of those things.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So
interesting.
it's funny how that is like where like your blood or where you come from, the culture that it's super like hyper aggressively like saturated.
Interesting.
You kind of have to viciously fight for it, which is
Yeah.
which is weird because I don't feel that way here. Like
Yeah.
like I don't feel that way anywhere.
Yeah, you're not vicious.
I'm very low key. Like I said
Yeah,
before.
you are. You are low-key. Yeah, like you said before.
So
Yeah.
I actually think that it's a lot about your like the. How do I say this? I don't think people are innately creative at all. I really don't think that there's any like innate creativity.
Oh, okay.
I think there's maybe some innate aspects of people personalities, and then the environments will either push you one way or another.
Don't you know that all Irish people are very good storytellers? Now,
So there you go.
on.
Environment. That's
Now,
exactly
come
what I'm
on.
saying.
Yes,
that there's
we love
environments
to tell
that
a
push you
story.
one way or another.
Right.
I think it's like, I don't know. You hear about all of these little pockets of creativity where it's like, oh, all of the handful of really successful people grew up in this specific spot. One example I think about is like how there's arts high schools in the world.
Yeah.
Where
Oh
it's
my
like,
gosh, I
oh,
know.
hey, this kid seems like has some interest in arts. Let's send them to the arts middle school
I
and then to the
literally
arts high
cannot
school.
believe that is a thing.
I can't either.
I'm like,
It's
you
like
had to go to
X-Men.
school to do art. You're so lucky.
Yeah.
I had to say Hail Marys a lot and write about saints.
So those environments are just like
Yeah.
breeding grounds for people to get better at that. Like people go to arts colleges because then you're surrounded by a bunch of other people
Bunch
who
of
are
other
artists,
nerds.
and it's like you're all flourishing in that space.
Yeah.
I think your childhood environment, either they like help you grow in
Yeah.
that, or they're a little bit more resistant, and either your personalities that you kind of fold because of that, or you're like, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Right.
Like I'm gonna be the art. I'm gonna like. I think there's a lot of different factors, but I don't think there's anything innate.
What do you think of like historical genius clusters? Like
Oh, God.
Emerson and Ralph Waldo Emerson and Walt Whitman, like those people, like all of those like writers and like the beatniks, like Allen Ginsberg and those other guys.
Yeah. No, I think,
And those other guys.
I think that's a lot of the same. Like people who like one specific thing
Yeah.
end up kind of gravitating towards each other, and they innovate it in that realm.
Those people are so cool.
I mean,
It's cool. I just like I think that
But, like-
like, those
like-
are fascinating, and I guess they're like pretty like clusters like that are pretty. Like you would say, there's almost like a genius cluster in the WNBA right now, like with Caitlin Clark and things like that, and Angel Reese and all those things. It's okay.
It's
I know
so
you guys
hard to
aren't
say.
like really up into WNBA basketball. It's fine. It's
but I don't know if genius cluster is this exact thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I also think like the thing that separates you from somebody who's a genius in your creative field, or anybody, is very little. Like it's just time and self-esteem over time. I really
this.
think that everyone's capable of like doing their best work when they're 50.
Ooh, I like that.
So yeah, I think a lot of it just has to do with how many
Yeah.
hours you put into it, what's your self-esteem about the art itself, like is that something you're battling with constantly, and how does that battle go? I think a lot of people as they get older, you two both on this podcast have said that you're like on like you're letting the young people now kind of like have their moment, and it's like I think that's maybe a little true, but I think you're selling yourself short because your best stuff could be your next stuff. Anyway, I all of those are things that I think.
Well, how's your environment and culture influenced your art?
Growing up,
Yeah.
I grew up in the woods.
Yeah.
I grew up in the woods.
The trees, they
even
talk
like
to me.
even like your fit right now is like very someone who grew up in the woods.
Yeah, no, I had a lot of alone time. I hope that wasn't this phone. It was one of the I had a lot of alone time growing up. There outside of my house in the woods, people were letting their scary dogs roam, and I was scared of dogs. Never had pets growing up, so I never went. You were in the woods, but I never went outside. When I was at a really young age, my dad had a really bad stroke, and so that sort of like my expectations for like my parental involvement was low, and that's fine. I'm cool with like that's totally okay from both my parents because they had a lot to deal with.
Right.
And that's I'm not upset about that, but like I understand that led to more time of me just being alone and playing with Legos and figuring myself out, and probably ended up me being as like quirky and as I don't know, self-driven as an artist as I am, because I'm pretty much believe from like a really young age, if I want to make something, I'll just figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anything. So anyway, so I know that period of my life is where like my inner artist child comes from, and that when I'm at my best, it's like when I feel as like distant from the world, and I feel as most like engrossed in whatever idea is right in front of me.
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's how I work.
From an early age, you already felt comfortable, like by yourself, or isolation, or just like.
Yeah, I don't know if comfortable is the best word, but I feel like it's like that was the battle I had to deal with when I was younger. Like if it's not like I could not be.
Oh, right.
So I have to be alone all the time. So I got to figure out some way to do it. And like being creative, like I will never forget like how many hours as a kid I played with Legos. That's like my thing where it's like
It's your number
from
one,
like 5 on. It's like that's what
Legos
I did.
are so fun.
I built
Legos are timeless. Yeah.
entire worlds, and would have all these characters in the worlds, and they would all be doing things, and it was like almost like its own like story building.
Yeah.
Playing with it all like it was some dollhouse, and there was some like grand scheme, except I also built the thing itself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You are the architect. You are the you're the game designer.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like a movie set designer is what it ended up being more, because it was like I'm building all these different things. Like, all right, there has to be a movie theater for what's going to happen next. So I'd figure out a way to build. Anyway, And I think all of that translates to how I relate to creativity now, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
you gotta. It's all learnable.
How does your family, like, how do your families feel about your creative journeys?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
You want to start us off?
Oh, no.
Well, I think you already shared a little bit
I
already.
did. Yeah, I did. I mean, it's been like, okay, when are you going to be all done with this? When are you going to be all done with this and make sure that you have a career that is stable? You know, so like that's kind of been part of it. And I think just like the fact that no matter what, I have still done the thing. They're kind of like, okay, I guess she is doing this for real. Even the other day, my dad was like, have you ever thought about going to grad school? You know, or like, now he's talking to me about like comics. He's talking to me about comics and he was like, you know, Jeff Foxworthy really got into that, like, I'm such a redneck. You know, he's like, do you ever think about doing something like that? And I'm like,
Being a red?
yeah, you know, just like being one of those comedians. And I'm like, he's coming from such a good place. He like, you know, he's concerned about my success and being able to, there's always like this, there's always like, we are well off, but like, there's always the existential dread of destitution.
Yeah.
So,
It always
you know,
ties back to survival somehow.
it always does. So there's always like, like all the facts can be like, things are okay, but like, it's catastrophe every, and then, you know, like I've had a job since I was, 14, you know, like we work in our family.
Yeah.
We work. It's just it's been something I've struggled with personally, actually, like managing. Like I'm like, am I being selfish for choosing artistic career? Am I really jeopardizing my future? Am I a burden on my parents, especially with being sick? I've often felt that way. You know, maybe I am. But I mean, with the sick thing, I mean, this is the real melancholy of it all. It's like, I'd probably be dead if I didn't have my parents to live with.
Yeah.
But like either by, depression or by, not being able to like eat. Cause like they really, like when I was really sick, I couldn't eat any food. I've been very ill.
Yeah.
So like that's all. And like that, just even that, I'm like, I mean, that is like catastrophe. Like I have experienced catastrophe. I've experienced close to deathness.
Yeah.
Where the world is, there's some kind of, I'm like talking about weird shit today, but there is like a veil, to the other side that I kind of like got to look at. Mm-hmm. And I could see, you know, I could see it. My grandpa was hanging out with me for a long time. Yeah. And then as I've gotten better, and like, I remember colors were brighter and time was slower. And as I've gotten better, that's gotten farther away and colors aren't as bright. I don't know. It's really interesting when you're really sick.
Yeah.
It's just been like one of those things where it's like, okay, maybe this is my environment. So like I have a lot of fear about being an artist. And then what I've worked on is, okay, what steps do I need to develop a life to support my art? And then like kind of mapping out these values that I have. What do I need to do this to then, you know, take the next step forward to support it? And I have been able to do that. Like I started a open mic.
Yeah.
I started a show really honestly to get good video of myself to then submit to festivals.
Yeah.
And then your show ended up selling out every time you do it.
And now I know, and it was a really fun show. It was
Every
a
time you
and
do
it's a
it, it
really
sells
fun
out.
show. It's a really fun show. And you know, then and actually Spokane Arts, did I ever say like we got a grant? Space Crew's got a grant?
You said that to me a number of times.
I can't remember. Yeah. Hey, Logan.
On the podcast.
Did you know that Space Crew's got a grant? But like when I first moved back here, I was like, wow, Spokane's doing this thing. So I took a seminar like before I knew anybody, before I took a seminar and I was like, oh, so this is what you'd have to do to get this grant.
Yep.
And then I've been slowly like building towards that.
Yeah.
Even with all of that, my dad's like, so you think about going to grad school, I don't know. I think I'm just talking in circles right now.
But something crazy?
What?
People don't change. We don't change as who we are at our core and what we want to do and how we're going to do it.
Yeah. Well, how do you reconcile that with the idea that there are artists in everyone, right? And but there are barriers to being an artist. There are socioeconomic barriers. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's not true? Or I guess that's way too black and white. It's obviously
it is so fluid.
Yeah, it's full of shades of gray.
There, I don't know. There are people who, and just so you know, I'm a white male saying this, so
it's true.
let that, you should hear what I'm saying through that lens. But I think there are people of all forms of economic dispositions that have turned to art as the thing that gave them their success.
That's true.
And for a lot of people, they didn't get success. But
right.
I don't know.
Maybe this is a very specific to me, my family thing that I really struggle with. I don't know.
There are people who weave baskets and bracelets on the seats or on the streets in tourist cities, for example.
Yeah.
There are absolutely artists who are carrying out a tradition.
Would you say that's art that brings
family.
them joy? Do you think that fills their soul?
Have you asked them?
No, I haven't.
I think it depends who you ask. I have a family member, and they have a bowl that is on their wall. That's from a tradition of a family that had been doing this forever, and then the next generation of kids aren't doing it, so they're still weaving baskets and selling them in the street to tourists because it really matters to them. And they feel a connection to themselves and their family through it. So I think everyone comes to art with a different reason. Everyone commodifies it for a different reason, but I think it's so
emotional and personal, art in your culture, and why you become one, why you become an artist, why maybe you don't.
Exactly.
It's so vulnerable.
And so I think there's a lot, I think there's factors associated with economic status and there's stratifying factors, but I also think that there are things that you get from also having a hard economic thing.
I look at my grandpa and but he couldn't eat. He the only thing he could focus on was food or money to eat. But maybe I guess he chose that. I don't know. Maybe he could have been a lowly pauper and I wouldn't exist, and do art on the side. It's amazing how these little choices.
Bruce Springsteen was homeless.
Right.
For a part of, for a lot, an early part of his career.
Right.
He's a homeless songwriter.
Yeah.
And that's somebody also who struggled to get any meal.
And talk about a Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Irish Catholic guy.
And look where he landed.
Talk about that. The boss.
So it's so hard to say. There's so many factors, but
I'm deeply curious about our listeners and what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
I'm that's a real question that I have for just in general everyone.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And if you're listening on Spotify right now, I don't know, there's a Q&A factor. I will say I'll probably write something asking this, and I'd be super curious what people have to say.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the little thing below, whatever this video, whether you're watching whether you're watching, comment or whatever. But I'm actually just really, really curious. Because we have three very specific, and I think this question, no matter how creative you are, is a really universal question, no matter who you are.
Why are you an artist?
What factors
have led to this?
And how did that shape you? I think I cannot imagine, Camrynne, that you wouldn't have been creative in some life. And Hector, of all the different, there's a early question in the artist way, which is, what are your alternate lives? List your 10 alternate lives. And I think 8 out of 10 of them are some form
Artists,
of creative
yeah.
artist in some realm.
That
for
is
us.
so funny because I imagine myself as like the handmaiden to like some wealthy person. Like I definitely was like a farm hand or something like that. Do you guys like imagine yourselves in like nice jobs?
I imagine myself in different jobs, but also still in the arts community. Like I really
Are you kidding
I really
me?
wanted to be
Yeah.
a chef at one point.
So in your
Yeah, it's still
alternate
art.
past lives, like you guys were like kind of cool artists.
Yeah, like we are not.
That is
cool.
oh
Like,
my
I don't. It
gosh.
depends. I could have been.
I literally like
You did the exercise.
in my past life, all I can see is a peasant. Like I know I was a peasant in a past life. Like, I
Is it an
was
Irish
not-
trait?
I must
Yeah,
be. Like it's really like my God.
Actually, I
Like,
ignore
I
everything
know I
I
was-
said.
Like I don't imagine myself like having grand jobs or like in the arts in any way.
Do you ever
Like I think of hard labor.
Conan has a bit. Conan has a bit. Conan O'Brien, or because he's
Yeah.
Irish, and he
Yes,
says that
oh,
he's
yes.
like, if I was born in another century, I think I would have been building a wall and then cracking a joke and been stoned on site by the other people making the wall as a comedian.
See, I don't think I would have been. Maybe I would have been
Treason.
like cracking some jokes, but I imagine I'm like a.
You'd be laborious. You wouldn't be the one who'd be like, hey guys. You'd make a joke and people would be like, all right, you're dead.
This wall ain't gonna build
I don't
itself.
think I'd be so amiable. I'd be like, this sucks. I think I would. Be like, I hate this.
You'd be like the version of It's a Wonderful Life if George Bailey wasn't in there. You'd be the like
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, no, honestly, actually, someone I had a person tell me that one of my past lives was a sex worker. So you know, but
not at all
before there were any. But like wait, like I'm thinking like French times.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like
French.
Les Miserables times.
Yeah.
So
Or it
that's
could have been,
really
like-
fascinating that you guys imagine yourselves
You could be
as
a
something
really
beautiful.
you could be a really artsy sex worker.
Well, there are.
Painter.
There are.
Yeah,
but
body
not-
painting.
But I don't think back then in particular there was any,
Caricatures.
respect for sex work. And in the idea that I was peasantry and that kind of mainly essentially like when I think about a past life, I think the stakes were really high for me to start. You know what? Did we just go into a past life regression for me?
And now we know.
In the
Now we know more about
in
you
the
now.
next life, will I imagine myself like as a comedian, as like a fun thing? Maybe you guys have lived more lives than me.
And find out on next episode of Creatives Anonymous what Cameron's next life is going to be.
I'm like, have you guys ever heard of? This is really tangential.
Tangeroni.
Tangeroni. Like, Oprah's like, there's like 9 lives that you live through. And like as you continue through them, as like you continue through like go through these cycles of lives, you become more wise and you seek different things. And I was reading it and I was like, I think I'm like on 1 or 2. Like 1 or 2 is like, they're like
Oprah
you're once in.
sells a magazine.
I know.
That's 90% ads.
I'm pretty sure
Whatever sells is probably where
there was like a
9 lives.
deep time of like where I read books like Untethered and like I like went into
The
I
Four
read this
Agreements.
book. Yeah, I read this book called The Emerald Tablet about like manifesting shit. I didn't read the whole thing. I got halfway through and I was like, I don't think I can keep reading this. But like really like diving deep in that stuff.
Hey, you're offending our Emerald Tablet listeners.
I'm so sorry to everyone who has. If you have successfully read the entirety of the Emerald Tablet,
You made it through.
I truly am impressed by you. So
An arduous task.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, Mr. Hector?
Counsel.
Yes. Please, someone get me off this mic.
Well, I mean, I was saying earlier, like the opportunities to become an artist where there's not a lot of, depending on where you are. Like I said, I was saying before, in the Philippines, there's a lot of people really wanting to use the arts to break out of that shell, to break out of the poverty, because like Philippines is like, it's like 60-70%. No, I wouldn't say that. I don't want to put a number on it, but it's very, very common for people to be like, less like to lower middle class, maybe even lower than that. So it is. That's why there's a lot of game shows. Like they cater to people like to showcase talent.
Yeah.
Like there's this daytime game show called Showtime, and they had a segment for like they're still on. Like I tuned in the other day and I was like, oh, there's still same hosts.
That's crazy.
Like they basically have people from different parts of the Philippines who are like down on their luck. They always have some sort of sad backstory. Where it's like, oh my mom can't do this, blah blah blah. I have to make these to to support our living, and like they get that chance of fame. They like win some money and maybe hope some sponsorships. It's like it's very like I feel like people there are always like have the opportunity to do that for people who are, I don't know, trying to use art as a medium to break out of that mold. What
are the other ways that you can break out of poverty in the Philippines?
Well, a lot of people, so it's either art or you do like some sort of like stand, like a business. Like like food there is like there's no shortage of food there. There's like a food place in every corner. My house in the Philippines, like my sister, where she lives, you can literally walk outside and there's like 3 food stands. Like, which one do you want to go to today? So, but everyone's trying to make it big, like showbiz, showbiz arts,
which like ironically is what a lot of people come to America for.
Right, it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You want to know something funny? Like, I wanted to go back to the Philippines. To live there, just to try it out, because I have a dual citizenship. And I asked my friends from back home, like, hey, like if I move back, would that be a good idea? They're like, no. They all shut me down. They're like, no. And I was like, why? And they're like, well, it's really competitive here. Like, I know that you're in the arts, you dance, you do photography, you're really good at what you do, but there's a lot of people here who will like do it. It's out with nothing to take you out.
They'll eat you alive.
Eat you alive, yeah. So they're like, we're trying to get out. Why would you go back in?
Wow.
That's like the mentality they like. My friend, one of my longtime friends, Jewel, she's doing YouTube now.
Wow.
She's like an anime, like watch anime, like that kind of stuff, and that's working for her. So that's who I asked for advice, because like I was like, wow, that's actually something that's like I never thought of that way. I made it out. Why would you go back in?
Wow.
It's like.
That's heavy. That's sad. That's like that's your home.
Yeah, I know.
You're
like, you can come visit, but just don't stay.
Yeah, that's heavy.
Yeah, I watched a documentary about this dude named Sam. What's his? I don't remember his last name, but he was a Philippine actor. He tried to come here to America to try acting, to become an actor, and he went to New York City. He went and done plays. He's done plays. He was in like small time television shows here and there, but ultimately he struggled a little bit, So because he was big in the Philippines, but it's like translating that into different areas.
The U.S. is really just horrific to immigrants now. The Irish were fine. The Irish were fine. Let's be real.
No, I agree.
But damn,
even just like thinking that you need. How do I say this? Like thinking about the pond that you want to be in. As an artist too, and going to a different place and making that the goal, and then getting there and realizing that it doesn't want you back. It's all tough. It's
it's also like it's also just luck too. Like there's so many creative people in the world, but like you get that sliver of that lightning bolt of chance where you're like, hey, like I'm now I used to do like there's this photographer I follow. They're from like Germany. Like they just shoot passively as on film, and then one time someone hired them to do a shoot for this like local magazine, and then someone from a higher up was like, hey, I like these images. You're gonna be on our team. And now she's like working for a big team that travels the world for photography. So it's just like
that's the way it goes.
It's the lightning bolt of chance,
Yeah.
I don't know.
What is it? Opportunity is when luck and hard work meet.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
and I mean, so I'm always a big believer that you have to make your own luck. I forget what it is. Is it in? Did I find it? It might have been. It's one of those books where there's a quote that says, "It's wild. The more things I do, the luckier I seem to get."
That's, you know what, and kind of going back to what you were saying earlier, and maybe to your point too, Hector, is like, I guess. Listen, I clearly have a lot of work to do to understand what my family stuff is going on. I'm sorry for putting that on all of you listeners. I'm so sorry that you had to like regress with me just now. But like essentially, like maybe like the great there's no great equalizer. What? Okay, essentially, if you go out and do stuff, if you go out and actively pursue your art, things will happen for you.
Yep, done.
Kind of. Done. Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Done.
I mean, to add on, like, I mean, my parents, like, they weren't like dismissive of the
Right.
art.
Yeah.
art.
Oh yeah, you guys haven't answered the parent question because I took over. Sorry.
No, you're good. My parents were never like dismissive of my art route. Like my dad was just like, "Oh, that's cool," you know. Like he had like no, he had no like strong feelings about it. My mom, on the other hand, she doesn't dismiss me, but she always like kind of like sprinkle a little bit of like, "Oh, well, you know, like there you can be a pharmacist. It's only like 2 years of schooling or whatever."
Wow.
I'm like, okay, like you know, like this new job I'm getting.
Yeah.
Like she's like happy for me that I'm actually working at this new place, but she's also like, well, also you have the opportunity to get schooling done. And I was like, thanks for the info.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
there
Thanks
it
for
is.
the info.
There it is. There it
yeah.
is.
There you
There
go.
it is.
Yeah.
What about you? Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I shared my bit already.
No, about your parents. What do they think of your creative journey?
At this point they're pretty chill with it.
Okay.
They're cool.
At
Like
this point.
I think when I was younger, there was a certain level of like, man, when's this artist thing kind of gonna go away?
Yeah.
Artist phase.
But I think they've reasoned with the fact that they can't change me.
True.
And they're cool with that. I think so.
Wow.
I don't know.
They don't like tell you ever. They
I'm
don't
gonna say
ever
this.
say you should go to grad school.
An older sibling of mine is works at a bank and has kids. And so I think I get a free pass to do whatever I want with my life because the like maybe the expectation of what a stable child or a stable like kid of theirs they're already doing his thing and is thriving in his own way.
Yeah.
So I can have a lot of freedom to do exactly what I want to,
Yeah.
and maybe it'll work out. Who knows?
Well, I guess you do make a whole dollar.
Yeah, I
You
do.
you make a whole dollar as a, you know, that's the other thing, you know. I'm 80 cents on the dollar. I don't know how much you make on the dollar.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's still 80 cents.
No, I thought yours was like 70 or something.
Is it 70?
75.
Something low.
Well, and
I don't know. I'm still a white woman.
being gay doesn't help either.
You know what? It doesn't.
Yeah, that's going to lower it even more.
Yeah. You know what? I was thinking about that too. I was thinking about the whole being gay thing.
Like, you're fine in Washington.
I'm just like
but if-
thinking
if
about
you're
it.
in a different state.
I'm just thinking about how I was gay.
You're 62 on the
how
dollar.
I'm gay.
I'm the diversity hire.
I know.
Yeah, man. But they'll still pay you less.
I know.
Which is messed up.
The you know, well, you know, I'm probably gonna be with someone who is feminine presenting at you know, which means that we're both gonna make less money.
There you go. There you go.
know, at some point. So there's that.
Well, and with that,
With that,
I think it's time to land this
is
plane.
it? Oh, good. Well, this
You
is kind of a heavy
Could make
episode.
less money too, listener.
If you want to be an artist,
Yeah.
Yeah. How should we land this plane?
You know what I am gonna say though?
What?
I truly in my heart like believe.
With your parents who believe in you. I'm sorry. Now I'm salty.
Bye. They didn't before. I'll say they, and that's
Okay,
fine.
all right.
But now
Absolutely.
they do. I had to.
I guess at some point also you're an adult and like who cares what your parents think? Like you got to do your own thing.
Yeah, I think maybe they
That's
realized
really-
that.
yeah,
I
that's
think
like-
they came to
Understand me,
terms-
Mom.
You are your own person. You got to do what you got to do.
I also worked at a property management for 4 years. So I think when I did that, there was also a certain level of like, oh, Well, he's doing his art on the
property manager
side of
for-
this full-time job.
Yeah.
So he can keep doing his art because he's got this full-time job. So I think there's a certain level of like,
Okay.
oh, he's gonna be fine.
Okay. Man, at no point. Actually, you know. Okay. Anyways, I'm done. I'm done.
You also
I
did
need to
cooler
stop
things
talking.
than me. I grew up in Spokane and worked at a property management complex, all while doing art, all local in Spokane. You went to New York.
Yeah, and I got a deadly disease now in my parents' basement.
And you're still doing art.
You know, like that was like definitely probably a fear of theirs. Like
You met some pretty swaggy people at the.
I did.
Yeah.
I
and,
met
like,
some swaggy people.
on
I
your
did.
you never thought you'd be there. You know.
That's true.
Yeah.
Plus
so
all the lessons from
Yes,
Winhand.
please, both of you make me feel better right now.
you've also met some people who are not cool, but
That's true.
It kind of like that kind of like
It balances
fuels the
it
fire
out.
a little bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
So whatever journey you're on, listener.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, I'm gonna say something aside. I think there's a lot of
Okay.
people who listen to this podcast who aren't like expressing creatives the way that we are, or the way that like we put all of our eggs in this. Hey, I'm gonna be an artist basket, and I think everyone has a different relationship to it and a different feeling. And whatever you got out of this episode, listener,
Please come back. Please come back. Which we need to lighten it. We need to lighten the mood. We need to end on a high note.
all right, tell a joke. Come on.
Okay, wait. I don't have a joke, but I have a song.
Ooh. A limerick.
Hit it.
A limerick, maybe.
Run
A
it.
limerick. Oh, if only I had a limerick. I'm gonna bring my limerick.
No, art is the point that we're all alive.
Yeah.
Art is what we're doing all this for, and it matters to us a ton. And if you're listening to this, I'm sure it matters a ton to you too.
Do you guys ever have any traditional songs that you like to sing? Do you have any traditional or cultural things? No.
Not me.
No, look at me. What am I gonna say?
Okay. I'm gonna end us on a song.
Yay.
The
Okay.
Skittles jingle for me. That's I don't know. What do white people?
Oh, the berries and cream. I'm just a little lad who likes berries and cream. Berries and cream. You know what? We're gonna end it on that because that couldn't have been more perfect. That couldn't have been more perfect.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.